Lace 'em up, let's start the show. We're digging in with Trip. 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 We're digging in with Trip today, yeah.
That's April Fool's, and I might hit my Canes Dig-In Player of the Month with an attempt at an April Fool's joke. Let's see if he bites. Who's it going to be? Well, a couple of guys that I thought made very noteworthy arguments. Brendan Smith, coming back from a fractured skull during the month, as tough of a hockey player as I've had the pleasure to call games for in all my years. Yes, Barry Kokaniemi, playing with the bite that he did before he got hurt in Washington this past Monday, stepping up for his teammate and Derek Stepan in St. Louis. Stepan, heck of a month, getting his 500th point in a victory over the Philadelphia Flyers. What an ovation by the Caniacs that particular day. Ultimately, it has to be the shovel goes to Antti Raanta. 4-1-1 in the month. He shut out the league's best team in Colorado. He beat the Metropolitan Division rivals, the Pittsburgh Penguins, for the second time that he has this season. Those are huge games, and Antti delivered the goods across the board, but certainly against the Penguins. He got Carolina points in games where either it was a very tough scheduling circumstance, like his last start in Tampa this past Tuesday, or in Detroit at home against Washington. You know, you really have implicit and full trust in both your goaltenders. Antti Raanta, the Canes Dig-In Player of the Month. And we're going to initiate this episode of Two Talkers momentarily, thanks to the great people at Casual Elegance Designs, designing interior spaces that speak to you, that uniquely speak to you. CasualEleganceDesignsNC.com. Please continue to rate and review our show on all audio platforms as well as YouTube. Check out digintrip.com if you desire some of our merch. So let's not delay this thing any further, because God knows Antti and I are going to talk. The March Canes Dig-In Player of the Month, Antti Raanta. Antti, I mean, boy, did you ever earn the shovel. But before we get to your month of March, I've got to ask you about this. Just came out that, I'm shocked, out of the GM's meetings, and the Players Committee has approved it, that they're going to further reduce goalie equipment size? No, seriously.
Yep.
Locker, glove, chest protector, pads, are going to implement it April 15th. What do you think about that?
If this wouldn't be April 1st of April, I would probably believe that. But
did you have any heads up?
No. But I can't believe that, so I will take that as an April Fool's.
Yeah, well, right you are. Father Finn has the cerebral intuition of Yoda. Yes, that was April Fool's.
Yep, thank God.
Yeah. Well, let's start with, you had a terrific month. You've been playing exceptional hockey. One of the teams you beat was Pittsburgh, and you did for the second time. And I want to ask you about, you told me how hard it is to read Sidney Crosby's stick. He's got that flat blade. He passes the puck as well as anybody in the league. Just why is it so hard to read that shot when he does elect to shoot it?
I don't know. It's just really hard to, you can tell from someone that he's 80% sure that he's going to go glove side, and then he pretty much goes to the glove side. But with Crosby, it's kind of where you don't even know if he's going to go backhand or forehand. He's probably as good as in backhand and in a forehand shot shooting the puck. So it's just some that kind of skill what you have, and I think some of our guys are pretty good at that. But obviously when we played in Pittsburgh and he had that slapper, I was kind of hoping that he would go to the glove side, but then I wasn't 100% sure, and then he went to the glove side and scored. So it's just something really tough to tell where it's if it's going to go high or low or like that, and he's one of the best at that for sure in the league.
I watch and admire your hockey IQ. So whether it be Crosby and somebody on the Penguins, or You shut out the Colorado Avalanche. These are all reasons that you have the shovel for the month. In real time, how often do you look at a guy, you know who the shooter is, and you think about his tendencies at that point of release? If he's going to shoot, if he's going to pass, high, low, location. Do you think about it a lot?
I think it's more before the game. Like you might notice the guy in the lineup and like, okay, like maybe he's probably more shooter than the passer. But I feel like when the game is on and you're inside the game, you're in the groove and like that. It's just you just go with the flow and trust your instincts more than anything. And when the situation comes, you never want to get beat by a straight shot. So you have to respect the shooter, whoever has the puck. And if he makes a pass, you just try to do whatever to get there and make that save. But obviously, we play against Washington or somebody. Ovechkin gets the puck, so you kind of know that it's going to probably be shot than a pass. So But if you start playing too much, like okay, he's more of a passer, and then he ends up shooting it, and you're all the time thinking the pass, so you're going to fool yourself. So you just have to trust yourself, and you're going to be able to make that save. And if he makes the pass, you're going to be able to make that move across the crease and be able to hopefully make that save also.
Yeah, okay, so one more specific on this, because I love to dig into these things. So you beat Pittsburgh. I think it was your first win of the month. It was the second time you beat them. You beat them in February too. And practice rink wasn't like this that we're taping this at, but I remember Sammy Kapanen here and Kasperi when he was practicing here as a young kid.
Yeah.
You made a huge save late in regulation before Svechnikov won in overtime. And Pittsburgh had a 1-goal lead in the third period. And I'm watching him. He's going to shoot the puck. And he made one extra move. You didn't bite. So in that situation, we talked about it, but what made you think in real time he's going to hold?
Like I said, I think it's just the instincts kick in, a little bit, and maybe you see something in that, where the puck is, how he's holding the stick. Maybe that's something what kind of made myself to hold up and don't going down before he made that move. Because if I would go down before he made that move and then he would have made the move, I would have to probably open up a little bit and he would go 5-hole, and that would probably end up going in the net. So I think it was just a good time to have a little bit patient there, and just trusting yourself that if he's going to make that shot, you're going to be able to still go down as quick as possible and cover the low part of the net. And I think that's probably what happened there. It's just you tried to get a little speed. Obviously, he was coming with a lot of speed, and you were trying to match that speed. And when he didn't do the shot straight away, then you're kind of like, okay, I'm fine. Like I still have the speed, and then he made the move to the middle and tried to go to a 5-hole, and it was just kind of like where you just dropped down and made the save. So it felt pretty easy after that when you had that patience. But if you wouldn't have that patience, it would be really tough save to make, because you would end up going down, and then you would have to open up and then cover the 5-hole again. So, he made a good move there, but I was lucky enough to have a little bit patient there.
Underrated save. I speak on TV quite a bit about when you move from side to side, and the game that jumps out to me is your shutout against Colorado. Is when you move, you maintain your depth. For any young boys or girls that are goaltenders watching, what does that mean to you because it's tough for a goalie to move east-west, maybe the toughest thing to do, to maintain your depth? What type of tutelage would you give?
I think the biggest thing was for me when I went to New York, and I always thought that I'm not the biggest goalie in the league, so I always have to challenge the shooter a little bit more. And it ended up being like where they were like a backdoor pass, and I end up, I have a good flexibility. I can do the splits, but I felt like I was all the time late. Even if I made a split, I couldn't still reach that, backdoor shot. So then Penny Allaire said to me like, hey, just take one step inside the crease. Like you don't have to be 2 steps over the crease. Like just, you're going to be able to make the save still. And I was like, oh, I don't know about that. And then you started to try that more and more, and then you end up being on the top of the crease or a little bit inside the crease, and you started to see like, wow, like that's a huge difference. If there's a backdoor pass or pass to the other side, you don't even always have to do a split. Like you're gonna get your slide there, and if you just get a good read of that pass, I think you just have enough speed to make that slide. And I feel like the biggest thing is also sometimes, you know, as a goalie, you move too much where you, like if you're standing on top of the crease, you try to get to the other side on top of the crease. But usually if you can get a little bit closer to the post on that move, you're going to cover as much of the net probably than going that way, and you're going to be more square to the puck also, and then the post comes to the play also. So you can get to the post and secure your balance there, and then if there's a rebound from that shot, you're still able to go to the other side. So I think there's a lot of different things there, but I think that was the biggest thing for me to kind of realize, like, hey, I don't have to challenge the shooter as much as I've been, and I'm still able to make that save and just, you know, be as successful as I can to get to that post, closer to the post, than rather than top of the crease on the other side. So I think that was kind of for me like a big difference what I learned about that.
Love these nuts and bolts. I'm going to pinpoint you. If you've made a bunch. I mean, recently you're the reason the Hurricanes get a point in Tampa. Oh, the glove save on point right after they tied it 3-3. Right after he tied it 3-3. What would you say is your best save so far as a Carolina Hurricane?
I think the McKinnon against Colorado, even though it only clipped my shoulder and went there, but obviously that was a big save in a big time. But yeah, I think, you know, it's tough to say. Obviously, if they would have scored, if Point would have scored there, I think we would have probably lost the game, because they would have get 2 goals inside a minute, and you know, we were a little bit cast on the third period there. So, you know, that's a big one. But, you know, it's tough. Sometimes it doesn't even have to be like a highlight reel save. Like even when we were playing in Pittsburgh and we won the game 4-3, and there's like 4 seconds left, and they just throw the puck in, and I was by myself with Crosby, and he's just whacking the puck, and I was like, the only thing what I was thinking, just to keep the puck on my side. Like I didn't want the puck to get to the middle, because then it would be an empty netter for them. So, you know, obviously the point one is one of those what you can see after the game and like, oh, that was nice, but there's always, like I said, it doesn't always have to be the highlight reel. It can be something what looks really easy, but you know, where you have to work on your thing before and like that, and then you end up making an easy save. But yeah, I think the McKinnon is still one of like where you feel like it hits your shoulder and you're like, oh now it went in. Yeah. And then you hear the crowd start going nuts and you're like, oh yeah, let's go. Yeah. So I think that felt pretty good.
So cool to get into your mind. If you don't mind, I want to get into your heart.
Yep.
You right before the season, you're coming to a new team. You lost your grandfather, and then very shortly after, you lost your dad, Pekka.
Yep.
I lost my dad a few years ago. Can you speak about your dad's influence in your hockey career, you know, from the very beginning right until he left us?
Yeah. So my dad, he pretty much worked the whole adult life on the hockey rink back in my hometown, and you know, me and my brother, I think my brother was 5 or 6 when he started skating, and then obviously as a little brother I just wanted to do whatever he's doing, so I was following him, and then when we started to get to the more like in juniors and like that, my dad used to be an equipment guy for my brother's team, and then he used to be a equipment guy in my team also, and you know, it was like he went to the hockey rink 7 o'clock in the morning, got out 2-3 o'clock, came home, picked us up, went straight back to the hockey rink, stayed there till 7-8 o'clock, went home, slept, went back in the morning. So, you know, his life was pretty much at the hockey rink, and you know, now I have 2 kids, you know, obviously it's great to bring them here and skate with them for a little bit, but you know, if your job is at the hockey rink, you want to do something outside outside the hockey, something else to kind of get up. But you know, that was him. Like, you know, my mom and my dad, they just, you know, they loved that we played hockey, me and my brother, and you know, my mom was selling cookies and selling coffee and doing that kind of stuff during the games, and it was pretty much, hockey was like 24/7 in our lives. And you know, when I was getting my first contract in my hometown team, I think that's kind of where I played 2 years in my hometown in the Finnish league, and Rauma Lukko, yeah. And I think that was kind of where I was like, you know, my brother was also started to work at the hockey rink that time, and my uncle. So there was like always like somebody was behind the glass when we had a morning skate or something. So it was either my dad or my uncle or my brother. So every time when I let a goal in a practice, there was somebody like knocking in the glass like, hey, you should do probably something else than that. And you know, after 2 years, I was like, I got a call from an agent, and they're like, hey, there's another team interested about you. I was like, yeah, I think it would be actually nice to go somewhere else. So you would have always that. But yeah, since pretty much I went to the other team. My mom and dad, they pretty much drove like 45 minutes to watch every game, what was possible for them to come and watch. And yeah, it was just, they were living and breathing hockey through me. And you know, it was when I went to the NHL, went to Chicago, they came there, and you know, it was just like, they were so proud. You know, my mom and dad, they just wanted to like have all that excitement. You know, they you know, it was always a text message after a game and before the game, and I think my dad probably watched all the games what I played on live. Like, you know, he woke up 3 a.m. to watch the games.
7 hours later, right?
7 hours, yeah. Then I went to Arizona. It was 10 hours difference. So I think he, you know, sometimes it was like 5 a.m. in the morning when the game started. So he pretty much woke up 5 a.m., watched the game, went straight to the work. So, you know, it was crazy because every time before, usually like hour before I get to the rink, I got the text. So I don't know if he had it like some automatic text or something, and it wasn't, you know, it was just like, let's go, and like flame emoji or something, and you know, it's just I think it was, you know, he always, when I was talking to him, he was like, yeah, saw this guy in the city, and he just wanted to say hi. I was like, I have no idea who that guy is. So I was kind of like, yeah. So you probably went to talk with somebody like, hey, you know who my son is. You know, I would figure out that yeah, pretty much. So it was like every time, like, yeah, this guy wanted to say hi, and that one, I was like, okay, that's good. But yeah, it's, you know, obviously it was tough last season. It was end of the last season. I think it was like in end of March, early April. My brother called me and said like, hey, Dad is in the hospital. He's doing okay, but you know, there might be something, you know, something going on. And then he went through a couple of surgeries. Then he got like lung infection. His body started to go a little bit, you know, his body wasn't strong enough anymore. I think he had 2 or 3 lung infections in 3-4 months, and the last infection pretty much, you could tell like he like, obviously you never want to say like he's probably not going to make it, but his body was so weak that time. So when you get that phone call 2 a.m. in the night that, hey, dad is gone, it was something. I think it took me like more than 2 weeks to realize that. Like it was something like, I was like, even when we went to the funerals, I was like, you know, all the emotions were there, and like, you know, it's really a sad day, and you know, like you kind of want to get that closer, but it's still like, you know, there's like moments in some day like where it's just like, I still can't believe it, like that he's not here, and you don't get that text message, but now my brother is pretty much picking up, so now he's like sending me the text every day. So you know, it's the, you know, like I've been talking with my wife and with my mom and my brother. Like we were saying that, you know, he's in a better place, and don't have to suffer, don't have to be in pain. So, you know, you just try to think the positive things about all the good things, all the childhood memories, and obviously growing up and playing in NHL. And he came and saw me play in an NHL in a live game, and you know, I knew that, and I know that he's probably still watching from somewhere, and you know, probably tried to text me every day, and you know, biggest thing what he always said to me, didn't matter what was the situation, just keep it simple. And you know, just, it's not easy always, but you know, sometimes when it's a tough day or something, you just try to keep it simple, and that's kind of something what I try to remember every day.
I have the faith that your dad and my dad are together right now. I remember the night before Thanksgiving, the Hurricanes played Toronto, and my dad had just decided to go home in hospice.
Yeah.
It was going to be over. And he sponsored Antti, AAA hockey in Detroit, produced 30 NHLers, a Stanley Cup winning captain, and the Hurricanes won the game. So in the post-game show, I knew my sister told me he was having his favorite soup watching the game.
Yeah.
And so I was able to speak to him, and then I went home. And I left early in the morning after I spent Thanksgiving with him, and then I left on Friday morning to get back for the morning skate. And it was like 5:30 in the morning, and you know, I went up to him, and I knew it'd be the last time.
Yeah.
And I said, "Dad, I'll live a life you'll be proud of." And he goes, "You think he's going to say, 'I know you will, Trip'?" He goes, "I know you'll try." So I want to ask you, you're playing brilliant hockey. Have there been any moments during a game, you know, when you're out on the ice, anything that jumps out where you've thought about him, that anything that jumps off the page in a game?
Obviously, the first game against Chicago was kind of, it just felt like, you know, playing that game, yeah, like you try your best, but it was kind of like tough because you were just pretty much having your dad all the time, like in your mind. And it you know, when things like, it didn't feel like I was playing my best, and you know, a couple goals here went, you know, where you're like, oh no, like I gotta do so much better in there. And then I think when the game was over, it was kind of just like a relief, almost like, oh, at least we got the win. And then, you know, then it just felt like it started to get better, like emotional, and obviously I felt like it made it easier to tell all the media also after the game, like, hey, this thing happened. So, you know, I don't know if anybody cared about it, but I think it was just something what kind of like, you know, maybe comes in later on, like, hey, like, yeah, my dad passed away like a couple months ago. So, you know, I just felt it made my life a little bit easier to also like share that experiment that, you know, maybe it's not always just about hockey and like that. But I think after that, you know, it's been a little bit easier now. Now, as my brother texts me before.
He's coming next week.
He's coming next week.
Great Mikko.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of Raanta's family coming over. My mom's sister and brother and their families are coming. So there's gonna be a lot of Finns in the audience in a couple home games. So, but yeah, it's, you know, it's just, you live on, but he's still by my side whenever things are not going well, and when things are going really well, he's there. So, you know, just try to have that positive memories and that memory bank about all the good things about him. And, you know, it's just nice to play the hockey, because that kind of gives you the chance to kind of make him proud still. And, you know, he's, you know, wherever he is, he's, you know, probably telling stories about me for somebody. And
he's teaching my dad about emojis.
It might be a case, but yeah, he learned the emojis in the last couple of years. It started to be pretty funny to try to figure out the code in there. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Before we finish, because you know, I'm looking actually through the window into the coffee shop here, and I just had the chance to spend time with your wife, Anna. You overachieved, the great nurse that she is. And your kids, Evelyn and Lucas.
Yep.
You were just on the ice with them. How you're a team? How have they helped you through? And you know, for anybody else, because we all unfortunately, it's life. We lose loved ones.
Yeah.
Looking over at Anna and your two beautiful kids, how have they helped you through as the Raanta team?
Obviously, we've been together since 2008. It's been a long ride already, and obviously when you move to another country, just two of you, like young kids. Like I was 23, and Anna was like 20 when we moved to US, and everything is new and like that, and she's I'm pretty nice. I'm really nice to everyone. At least I try.
Either you are, or you've got us all fooled.
Or at least I try to be. So like she's a little bit more no, these things goes like that, and I'm like no, like but we could still try. But she keeps the house in order. Obviously I'm away from home a lot, so when I get home, Evelyn and Lucas, they're like, oh, daddy, yeah, daddy. And then Anna is like, okay, so I haven't done anything for you guys. So, it's funny how the kids turn the page straight away when daddy comes home. And, I don't want to say no straight away when I've been away for a week. So I'm like, yeah, let's go to Target. Let's buy some Barbies and, monster trucks or whatever. And then Anna is like, no, I just told them 2 days ago, like, no more toys. But yeah, I told like one of my good friends told me, what was it, 6 years ago? He was like, don't ever tell this to Anna, but I think without Anna you would never play in NHL. And I was like, okay, I think I have to keep that with me for a little bit, and when things are not going well, maybe I have to tell that to her and make her happy. But I think I told that a few years ago. I told that to her, and she was like, yeah, I think he's right. But no, it's she's great. She does so much for the kids, for me, and it's just she was helping us to get the funerals done, everything what happened, off season, she was there, and it's just like, there's not enough words. Like, it's just, unbelievably happy to have her in my life. And, obviously those two kids are making your day every day a little bit more special and a little bit more busier than somebody else's. So, it's just, I'm just super lucky to have them in my life. And, when if you're not playing well enough, you get home, the kids don't have no clue how the game went or not. So, sometimes you might be a little bit sad about the game, or a little bit angry, and you get home and the kids are telling you like, hey daddy, how was the game? I was like, not good. And then we're already playing with the Barbies or something else. So yeah, exactly. Or then we go to the Target and daddy buys himself something. So, but yeah, it's great. She's the rock of our family, and she's been through a lot also herself. So we try to support each other, and it's sometimes it's just nice to tell that to the camera also, so she knows that it's not always about me and like that. She's, without her I wouldn't probably be here. So that's said now, so now she knows.
It's powerful, special stuff. As I look over at him again in the coffee shop, lighter note, your mom, the coffee and the cookies that she sold. What was your favorite cookie on your mom's menu that she sold?
Well, I think it's just like I don't know how you say that in English, but probably something with full chocolate, not chocolate chip cookies, but I think when my mom comes here, I have to ask her to make that, and so I can bring it to you, so you can tell how good those were.
If you want to speak Finnish, I mean, I speak it.
Well, it's called chocolate square.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much just like kind of like a chocolate cake.
Oh yeah.
And then you put like sprinkles on top of it.
Is it doughy?
Not that much doughy. It's more like kind of like soft inside, and then you have like a layer of chocolate on top, and then you have like sprinkles there, and it's just you get a good cup of coffee, Finnish coffee, and one of those, and your day is made. And then Billy puts you on the weigh next day, and
Billy Burness. It looks like he's had a few of those himself. Well, because I mean, for me, I think whoever invented chocolate chip cookies, whenever it was in time, they should have stopped at the dough. I don't think they should have even thrown them in the oven, because I like the dough.
Exactly, and it would be way quicker also. You wouldn't have to wait that 20 minutes to get them cooked.
Exactly. Okay, you earned it completely. Congratulations. And I think it was the post-game show. You just beat St. Louis. And I mean, I'm like Austin Powers. I'm spent after the game. And, you know, like, you played brilliantly. So, you know, like our producer will say, well, we're going to hear from so-and-so and Raanta. And inside, I'm like, okay, we got another 20 minutes here from Father. And it's fitting because, and I'm on the hook for this too, but you are certainly the longest episode running right now for the Player of the Month. As well it should be, Father Finn.
And you kind of knew that when you picked me to get that shovel, you kind of knew that it's going to be a long one. But yeah, one more thing about my friends. They told me like they never watch my interviews because it's like just like over and over the same stuff. And
you could have your own show.
Yeah, maybe in future, maybe I have to do like some podcast where I'm talking by myself. Like maybe that's good. Like time spending a little bit of time there, but you know, it's just sometimes when you talk English,
yeah,
and you know some word, you know, like yeah, I'm gonna say that,
yeah,
and then you start talking like, oh no, I don't know how to say that anymore. So then you start going circles
yes,
to try to explain that thing on the other way, and then it's like after 5 minutes you're like, I have no idea what the question was either anymore, and you just like, yeah, next question. So. But it's just like, I like to talk, and it's like, you know, when I'm playing, I'm not talking there that much. So you know, when the game is over, you get the win. You're just like, okay, let's talk.
Let's let the floodgates. Hey, let's speak. Have you seen the movie A Few Good Men?
I don't think so.
You got to watch.
Okay.
So Jack Nicholson, you know, somebody says, "Am I being clear?" You know, crystal. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me be crystal clear. You may. You know, I may be sitting up there and, you know, and I'm a little bit spent, like I said, after the game. But your content is real. There isn't any circles for me. It's heartfelt, and the meat, as Father Finn, all of these other special Finns on the team, are they ever lucky? And are we lucky to have you here? So there's no circular deal in my mind, okay? It's always the content, because it's totally genuine, that people are looking for. So I thank you for that, and my gosh, have you played marvelously. Keep her going.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and
Thanks,
we'll talk about our show after.
Exactly.
The people are all asking for it.
Yep.
I'm just going to sit back and be an observer. I mean, because let's not kid ourselves. I'm afraid of silence. I just had a situation recently where my voice was going a little bit. So I'd like to think of myself as a pro. So, I mean, it's sort of my bread and butter. So I went between two games, and I just went home to my place in Raleigh, and I didn't speak to anyone. I mean, nothing. No words whatsoever on the 2 off days. I even had to teach my mom how to text, because I said, I got to save the old, I mean, that was tough. I was silent for 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not easy. It's not easy when you're used to talking, and then somebody tells you, or obviously you're a pro, so you know that I have to save my voice, so you can't talk. So it's tough, but that's what the pros do. They find a way.
Yeah, Antti, continued success. Congratulations. Thanks for this, and keep digging.
Awesome. Thanks, Trip. Thank you.
We're digging in with Trip today, yeah. Today, yeah. Today, yeah. Today.